Every guitar has a special place where it truly comes alive, where it sings. But as Joe Bonamassa always says, it's never the same for everyone. Each instrument, like each player, has its own soul. And for Joe, that soul deserves respect, not showmanship. Joe Bonamassa built his life around the guitar. From a child prodigy to a blues icon, he's played alongside legends, studied every riff in history, and kept the spirit of the blues alive for a new generation. His devotion to the instrument is deep, almost sacred. But behind that respect lies something darker. Frustration, even anger, toward guitarists he believes betrayed the true purpose of the instrument. Because in Joe's eyes, the guitar isn't meant to show off, it's meant to speak truth. And when someone forgets that truth, Joe doesn't hold back. So today, we uncover the 6 guitar players Joe Bonamassa openly admitted he couldn't stand, and why their names still echo on his blacklist.
Number 6. Ingy Malmsteen's Too Fast for Feeling. Some guitarists chase lightning. Ingy Malmsteen bottled it. His neoclassical shredding in the 1980s made jaws drop. But for Joe Bonamassa, it felt hollow. To him, Malmsteen was a master technician, but not a storyteller. Joe once said, "Speed without taste is noise, not music." That one line sums up his entire view. While fans were mesmerized by Ingy's dizzying speed and harmonic runs, Joe saw something missing: emotion. Malmsteen could play 100 notes in a second, but Bonamassa believed that one bent note from B.B. King carried more soul than all the fireworks combined. In interviews, Joe compared Ingy's playing to a fireworks show, dazzling, impressive, but over in seconds. He said, "A great solo should feel like a voice breaking, not like gymnastics." Joe respected Ingy's influence. After all, he changed the way people viewed guitar virtuosity. But for Bonamassa, it was too much flash, too little feeling. That's why Ingy Malmsteen takes the first spot on his blacklist.
Number 5. John Mayer, a bluesman in costume. Joe Bonamassa's relationship with John Mayer has always been complicated. He admits Mayer is talented, skilled, and a great songwriter. But when it comes to authenticity, Joe never bought it. Mayer started with pop hits like Your Body is a Wonderland and Daughters. Later, he reinvented himself as a blues player with the John Mayer Trio and hits like Gravity. Audiences loved it, but Bonamassa saw through it. He once said, "The blues isn't something you put on like a costume. You either live it or you don't." Joe believed Mayer's transformation into a bluesman was more marketing than heart. He respected his talent, but hated the polish, the image, the branding, the packaging. To Joe, the blues was sweat, scars, and raw honesty, not a brand identity. Critics once wrote, "Mayer gave the blues a face on MTV, but not its scars." That's exactly how Joe Bonamassa felt. Mayer, in his eyes, represented the modern problem, when talent becomes a product, not a passion. That's why John Mayer finds himself on Joe Bonamassa's list, not for lack of skill, but for lack of grit. Number 4. Eddie Van Halen, the genius who changed everything and ruined it. Yes, you heard that right. Joe Bonamassa had mixed feelings about Eddie Van Halen. He didn't hate Eddie the man, he hated the culture that followed him. When Eruption hit the airwaves in 1978, it redefined what guitar could be. Eddie's tapping, tone, and energy transformed rock forever. But Bonamassa saw the aftermath, a generation of players obsessed with speed, tapping, and effects while forgetting feel. He once said, "After Eddie, the guitar became a sport. Points for speed, no points for soul." Bonamassa respected Eddie's originality, but despised how players turned the guitar into a competition. He missed the days of B.B. King and Albert Collins, when 3 notes could break your heart. As one critic wrote, "Van Halen gave us the future, but at the cost of the past." And that, Joe believed, was the tragedy. Brilliance that accidentally buried the blues. He didn't despise Eddie. He despised what came after. In Joe's world, the guitar isn't about fireworks. It's about fire.
Number 3. Kirk Hammett, the wah pedal warrior. Metallica's Kirk Hammett is loved by millions. His solos helped define metal. But to Joe Bonamassa, Hammett was the symbol of sloppy technique. Joe criticized his constant use of the wah pedal and his lack of precision. He once said that Hammett's solos felt like the same wah exercise repeated again and again. While fans heard power and aggression, Joe heard chaos. For Bonamassa, a solo should tell a story, start somewhere, go somewhere, and end somewhere. But he felt Kirk's solos just circled around. A rock journalist once said, "Hammett plays like a teenager who never learned to slow down." And Joe would probably agree. He respected Metallica's success and the raw power they brought to music, but for him, power without control is just noise. That's why Kirk Hammett stands as one of the few legends Joe Bonamassa openly criticizes, not because he couldn't play, but because he never learned when to stop.
Number 2. Slash, the icon with no depth. Joe Bonamassa's opinion of Slash is brutally honest. He admits Slash has style, charisma, and tone, but he believes that's all he has. To Joe, Slash represented image over emotion. He once said, "Wearing a hat doesn't make you a bluesman. Playing with honesty does." Slash became a legend through Guns N' Roses, and his solos on Sweet Child O' Mine and November Rain are unforgettable. But Bonamassa believed it was more attitude than artistry. A player posing as a bluesman without truly living the pain behind the notes. Critics have echoed Joe's thoughts, writing, "Slash is more icon than innovator, more silhouette than soul." Bonamassa wasn't attacking the man, he was defending the essence of the blues. For him, the guitar should bleed, not pose. And that's why Slash's name sits firmly on Joe's blacklist.
Number 1. Jimi Hendrix, the untouchable idol Joe refused to worship. Here's the shocker. Joe Bonamassa's most controversial opinion is about Jimi Hendrix himself. He doesn't hate Hendrix. He hates the cult around Hendrix. Joe once said, "I never hated Hendrix the man. I hated the myth." Because for him, the world's worship of Hendrix drowned out the voices of other masters. B.B. King, Albert Collins, Robert Johnson. He believed Hendrix became more than a man. He became a religion. And in that religion, every young guitarist was told to copy him instead of finding their own truth. Bonamassa respected Hendrix's genius, his innovation, tone, and courage to push boundaries. But he resented how history made him untouchable, while the true roots of the blues were left behind. As one critic wrote, Hendrix gave the guitar its wings, but his shadow clipped others from taking flight. Joe agreed. Hendrix's brilliance was both a gift and a burden. To Joe, Hendrix wasn't just a man. He became a monument. And monuments, no matter how glorious, can suffocate what comes after.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.